From poor facilities and dirty seats to overnight delays, we all have airline dramas to tell. In its annual ranking, flight compensation company AirHelp has revealed the best and worst airlines in the world based on 3 different criteria, and how they perform against the competition. AirHelp includes how well airlines resolve flight delays, the amenities provided and flight punctuality. Here's how they stacked up. 20th best, Transavia.com, part of the Air France-KLM group. Transavia.com runs low-cost flights to Europe and Northern Africa from the Netherlands, France and Germany. Its new aircraft is popular among customers and it doesn't scrimp on customer service, despite being at a lower price point. Punctuality is also a big draw and the airline is frequently called efficient. 19th best, Air Dolimiti. The airline mainly flies to Italy and Germany, hence the name, and does a good job at providing clean planes, if a little on the small side. While some grumble about the planes being a bit old, the fact that they serve wine in proper glasses gets a big cheer. 18th best, Aer Lingus. A big plus for this airline, which flies across Europe and the US, is that if you're traveling to the latter you can do pre-clearance checks in Dublin, meaning you won't have a long wait in immigration on the other side. It's praised for having decent snacks and good in-flight entertainment. It doesn't rank highly for customer service but people acknowledge it isn't bad for the price. 17th best, El Al Israel Airlines. Known as El Al, this airline flies across Europe, Asia, Africa and North America. Check-in is speedy and flight attendants are friendly and smiley, but its main strength is dealing with flight delays. Prioritizing safety was another big thing that customers comment on. 16th best, Emirates. Usually famed for its service and quality aircrafts, Emirates didn't fare as well in this roundup. However, it remains consistently good at providing comfortable seats, good entertainment and reasonable price points. Staff were complimented for being friendly and it's just started to reintroduce little flight bags into economy with socks and a toothbrush. 15th best, Turkish Airlines. Turkey's national airline may not have huge seats but the airplanes themselves feel roomy. It flies to lesser-known destinations like Kosovo, so it's a consistently good option for adventurous travelers. It's reasonably priced too, and doesn't skimp on customer service or food. 14th best, Flybe. Running low-cost flights to Europe and across the UK, Flybe has managed to nail making a budget airline experience pleasant. The planes tend to be quite small and are only 2 seats in a row but service is efficient. 13th best, Wizz Air. The Hungarian airline doesn't rank highly in customer reviews but clearly it's doing something right. Customers say, it does what it says on the tin. While service isn't fantastic, it's passable for what you're paying and, above all, planes are clean. 12th best, Norwegian. A top draw for this low-cost airline is the TV screen on every seat to while away the hours. People say it's worth bumping up to a premium seat on long-haul flights as you get a lot more leg room for your buck. 11th best, KLM Royal Dutch Airlines title. This airline hits the magic combination of good prices, customer service and amenities on board. Pilots were praised for good communication when delays occurred and friendly staff were a highlight. Best, Virgin Atlantic. Staff on Virgin Atlantic were called kind and attentive, and the airline was pretty generous with the food portions too. Toilets are checked and cleaned regularly, and, let's face it, that's a high priority on long-haul flights. 9th best, Air Malta. Free snacks are always welcome and, these days, hard to come by on short-haul flights. Air Malta ranks highly for communication about delays and feeding passengers no matter how short the flight is. 8th best, Qantas. Ranking highly for seat comfort and entertainment, people felt they could sleep better and were fed better on Qantas than other airlines. Some like that there were 3 meal options and a vast selection of films to watch. Plus free drinks are served even on short-haul flights. 7th best, Aegean Airlines. Aside from clean planes and good staff service, Aegean are pretty generous even on their short-haul flights with free food and mints. Cabin crew are also praised for being immaculately attired and polite. They excel in adapting to situations like special meal requests and accommodating passengers with disabilities smoothly and seamlessly. 6th best, Austrian Airlines. On short-haul flights, the airline runs a smooth check-in and boarding process, and supplies everyone with tea and coffee when on board. 5th best, South African Airways. Punctuality is a biggie for South African Airways, as well as good food and attentive service. One customer said it was a nod back to the airline service of yesteryear. And if that isn't a compliment, we don't know what is. 4th best, Singapore Airlines. The airline wins multiple awards every year, so it's no surprise it features near the top of the best airlines list. It runs a tight ship from smooth and easy check-in to helpful staff no matter what class you fly, clean planes and good food. Regular snack boxes in the galleys are available for those who might feel peckish on long-haul flights. The film choices are also ace. 3rd best, Etihad. Etihad has really bumped up its offering with new planes, and has scooped the TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice Award. You get real cutlery even in economy, and the food and in-flight entertainment options are pretty swish too. 2nd best, Lufthansa. Lufthansa is the only 5-star European airline and it delivers 5-star amenities. The planes have enough toilets so it doesn't get apocalyptic on long-haul flights. The printed, multi-choice menus in all classes are a nice touch on long-haul journeys, and short-haul flights come with a beverage and snack. The best, Qatar Airways. It's quite a run for Qatar. Last year they won Skytrax's Airline of the Year and have consistently been award-winning in terms of service and value for money. For plane nerds, it's heaven. Qatar has the Super Jumbo A380, the world's largest airliner. It also takes tech and innovation to the next level, rolling out a new business class seat called the Q Suite, designed for privacy or in-flight business meetings. In economy you still get amenities like toiletries and generous food portions. World's worst airlines, and now here are 20 of the world's worst airlines. 20th worst, Avianca. Avianca connects Colombia to Europe, Africa and the US, as well as a lot of South America. Why has it got the thumbs down? Old planes and poor communication seem to be top of the list. If there are delays, there are often no explanations given. One customer who had a cancelled flight received no apology and had to sleep on top of his suitcase for 6 hours in the airport. 9th worst, Vueling Airlines. Vueling's flight delays, rerouting and cancellations put its passengers at the risk of extra expense through taxis or needing to rebook flights, without much in the way of an apology. 18th worst, Aeroflot Russian Airlines. This Russian airline isn't all bad. Some say it's better than expected. However, it consistently ranks low for customer service, with complaints about rude staff or delays in food and drink service. When flights are delayed, staff have a reputation for responding poorly to inquiries. 19th worst, Czech Airlines. Huge lines for check-in indicate there aren't enough staff spread across flights, but the biggest gripe is the airline's habit of changing departure times with little notice, and then not letting customers know what's going on. Some passengers were unnecessarily stressed by not being notified about transfers or changes in flight carriers. 16th worst, Kuwait Airways. Most Middle Eastern airlines are top-notch with customer service, but Kuwait Airways didn't get the memo. Customer service was cited as the worst thing about the airline, in terms of both the in-flight experience and the poor follow-up when people tried to lodge a complaint or get a refund. 15th worst, Air India. Creaky, old entertainment systems that don't work, bad customer service, some staff are unsure and ill-informed about flight changes and delays, and erratic toilets all explain why Air India is in this part of the list. Many people report that the airline doesn't provide enough blankets and plane interiors are dirty. 14th worst, Asiana Airlines. Flight attendants have been praised for doing a good job, but, overall, the airline is let down by planes that aren't in the best condition and a lack of forethought for wheelchair facilities. 13th worst, TAP Portugal. Issues with TAP range from problems with cancellations and refunds, customers have to face a lengthy and difficult process, to boarding flights and bad communication with ground staff. One customer said the flights themselves were fine, but the constant rebooking of a flight is what wore her down. 12th worst, Jet2.com. Overall, this airline seems to be doing the right things in offering cheap flights with minimum fuss, but it tends to fall in the low-cost trap of not packing enough food on the flight, and making the check-in and seating process more difficult than it needs to be. A frequent complaint on TripAdvisor is that seats for groups are always scattered across the flight. 11th worst, Thai Airways. The reviews are mixed for Thai Airways, but judging by recent customer reviews on Trustpilot and TripAdvisor, the main problem is how it processes claims. According to AirHelp, it does well in customer service but ranks poorly in claims. Worst, Jet Airways. Jet Airways hits the top 10 worst airlines for a multitude of sins: a 65% flight punctuality rating and bad customer service at check-in, on the flight, and communicating to passengers about transit flights. The seats have also come under fire for being unyielding and uncomfortable. Worst, Aerolineas Argentinas. If your flight takes off and is on time, this probably won't be the worst airline you've flown with. But if there are cancellations and you need to rebook a flight or get a refund, you may end up tearing your hair out. The majority of bad reviews all have the same thing in common: being on hold for hours to speak to someone in customer service, or receiving no reply. 8th worst, Iberia. Customer service is cited as a big bugbear if you need to call to verify or change flight details. One customer said the airline seemed uninterested in his queries. Some plus points were good wine and efficient staff. Downsides were stale food and dirty aircraft. 7th worst, Korean Air. Korean Air got a thumbs up for new, clean planes, but on long-haul flights there isn't a huge choice in the way of entertainment. The food quality wasn't highly rated either. 6th worst, Ryanair. Ryanair is actually pretty punctual with its flights, but, overall, the Irish carrier still continues to make the low-cost experience a painful one. There are extra costs, airports that are far away from the destination they claim to be near, uncomfortable seats and inconsistent in-flight food options. It also ranked low for quality of service. Worst, Air Mauritius. Most of the reviews for Air Mauritius are glowing: great staff and brilliant in-flight entertainment, barring consistent complaints about the system breaking down. But many passengers have commented that the airline handles claims extremely badly. 4th worst, easyJet. Unlike its notorious rival Ryanair, easyJet has fewer punctual flights. It is also terrible at processing claims, and customer service is regularly described as shocking or awful. Often, people's frustration stems from flight cancellations and not being given enough updates on delays. Worst, Pakistan International Airlines. Consistently ranking low across all three categories. Common complaints about Pakistan International Airlines include entertainment systems that often don't work, flight delays and no amenities. Overall, people aren't impressed with the old planes and found the food to be lacking, resulting in an overall terrible experience. 2nd worst, Royal Jordanian Airlines. Its planes may be on time, but Royal Jordanian Airlines ranks the lowest for claims processing. Overall, cabin crew are rated highly, but ground staff don't get the same glowing reports and are blamed for a lot of the stress of flying with the airline. The worst, WOW Air. WOW Air owes its #1 spot as worst airline not just because it's not that great in areas like customer service, but it's incredibly bad at responding to flights delays or cancellations. Missing flight connections and lost luggage seem to be consistent problems, which is not wow at all.